Hey, are you wasting my money again, woman?
Huh? What's this all about? I don't waste any of your money.
Oh, but I think you do. I saw that photo on Twitter of you two buying a new pair of shoes for Camila.
Yeah, what about it? Are you trying to say that that was wasteful?
You've got a lot of nerve to be spending like that while I'm working my tail off. Do you know how rough life is over here?
Those weren't just regular shoes, either. They were spikes for track and field. She needs them.
Middle schoolers don't need track-specific spikes. She will do just fine in a pair of running shoes.
Camila is the star on the team. The coach even thinks that she could have a shot at winning state.
Winning state? Did you hear him say this? It's the first I've heard of it.
We talked about it a couple of months back when you were home.
It's because I hardly ever see her. I can't keep track of all the new information I get while I'm back.
You wouldn't have to hear so much at a time if you bothered to return home more often.
Is all this nagging what I get for working so hard? And on top of that, you want me to drag this ragged old body home?
No, I didn't say anything about you forcing yourself to do that.
You are a heartless wife to try and increase the burden on your already overworked husband. Do you know how lonely it is living apart from your family like this?
You don't have to be alone. We offered to go with you, but you were the one who turned us down.
And how many years ago was that? I'm telling you I have a bad memory. I don't remember any of that.
Right. The selective amnesia is back again, a really convenient excuse, John.
I don't like that attitude, Ella. It kinda sounds like you're calling me a liar. You talk like that to me again, and I'll cut your living expenses in half next month.
What? You wouldn't.
Well, it seems like you two have more than you need already if you are going out and wasting money on event-specific shoes.
Forget the shoes for a second. We can't possibly cut our spending in half. In case you's talking ass won't be able to eat with so little.
Oh, I think it's just a matter of you two being a little more frugal with my money.
It's not possible, John. I'm sure you know just how much you spend even by yourself.
You can get pretty far on rice and beans 3 times a day. It's not that hard to live cheap.
Your daughter is too active for that. And she's still growing. I will not subject her to such a lifestyle.
Then try not running the AC. You can fan yourselves instead.
We're in a heat wave. It's been near 100 for days now. What you're suggesting is unreasonable.
If you're concerned about the heat, then you can just take cold showers. With that bill cut out, you should easily be able to live out the month quite comfortably. You probably won't even have to resort to the rice and beans diet.
If it's so easy, then why don't you try it first and get back to us on how it works out for you?
And what, exactly, would that accomplish?
It's not about accomplishing anything, it's about being fair. If you do it, then we will as well.
My case is different. I'm working, Elle can't have anything that could affect my performance. Don't confuse our situations here, Ella.
See, my point exactly. You already know that it's unreasonable to live like that.
There's a difference between me, who has to work in this heat, and you two. Camila just messes around with her friends at the track, while you are just a lazy housewife with too much time on your hands. There's nothing to compare between our situations.
You say that, but you are in a cool office during the heat of the day. I bet the heat wave is barely affecting you.
Which would be a good argument if I were spending every day there, but it's not like I'm at the office all day every day.
What? Where else are you, then?
Ops.
John. You're supposed to be going into that office daily. That's the whole point of living over there.
It's work from home. I'm sure you've seen news of it becoming more common recently.
If it's work that you can do from home, then why do you have to be stationed away from us like this?
It's not all possible from home. There are some things that just have to be done in person. Hands that have to be shaken and all that.
Sure, a business trip to shake hands makes sense.
Anyhow, expect less money in the bank starting next month.
You still haven't convinced me of why exactly you're doing all of this.
Enough! It's my money at the end of the day that you're living on. I get the final word in all of this, so do as you told.
Apparently, John's IT work has become increasingly in person recently. John and I have been together since high school. We got married at 21 and it has already been 20 years together. Our daughter is about to turn 16 and is leading a busy life of school and sports. She told me that she wanted to throw a party for us for our anniversary. It's a shame that it looks like I might have to put a hold on her plans. When John started staying on site for his work 3 years ago, he would still find time to visit us on the weekends. But the time between visits grew longer and longer. Eventually, we were lucky to see him once every 3 months. To make matters worse, he wouldn't even talk to us at night, complaining that he was too tired from work. And I really did believe that it was his work that was the cause of all of this. But those texts were suspicious. Something wasn't right. I figured that I would watch what he did for a while before acting myself. While I did that, however, he decided to go off the rails, and the actions he took would lead to his own demise.
2 weeks later.
Hey! What was that picture Camila posted just now? You bought a whole cake?
Looking at Camila's Twitter again? Is that your way of keeping in touch?
No, this time I saw it on Instagram.
And why exactly is it necessary for you to keep tabs on her like that? It's creepy.
It's my duty. As a parent, I have to make sure that she's on the right path. That she's not getting into any trouble.
Yeah, a plausible excuse and all, but gross nonetheless.
I didn't ask you your opinion on the matter, Ella. Don't try and change the subject either.
Fine, what's the problem now? That you didn't get to eat any of the cake?
I told you that I'm just barely getting by over here. Rice and beans, remember?
Rice and beans were what you were telling us to eat. And all the while you two are out on the town, treating yourselves to cake.
It was for her birthday, John. She doesn't need such luxury for her birthday. I'm sure a cookie or two would have been enough. Was that a whole damn cake? Do you two need that much cake?
I didn't get it just for her birthday. She also got second in the state at her distance. Don't you think those are good enough reasons to celebrate? Also, cookies? Out of the question, she earned way more than that.
The second fastest in the state? Is that true? When did she get that good?
I sent you a photo of her on the podium with her medal.
Ah, you're right. I found it. It must have been the last thing you sent me.
Work must have been crazy busy for you to have not bothered to read my messages.
I just happened to miss it. But you're right, I probably was busy at the time.
Sure, of course, you did.
Forget that, we're talking about the cake here. This is about you continuing to spend despite me telling you to do otherwise.
Forget that? That's your daughter's accomplishment that she worked so hard to achieve that you're just brushing aside.
Yes, and I'm very proud of her. But, please, for the love of God, stop changing the subject, woman.
What was the subject again? Oh, about how I was going to hold you accountable for forgetting your daughter's birthday? Was that it?
Wrong! It's about that cake. We're talking about being frugal. You should be saving that money.
And I told you that your ideas for being frugal were unrealistic and that we could not and would not do them.
I figured you'd say that, so I went ahead and made the first move already.
This isn't a game, John. What did you do?
I've agreed to put the apartment on the market. I've already spoken to a realtor.
You decided to sell our apartment? You're joking, right?
No, that's exactly what I did. I arranged everything myself.
This isn't just your place to sell, I helped you buy it. What about all that money I pitched in?
Well, the title is in my name, so I decide what happens to it.
It's freaking unbelievable that you would do this to us, John.
You two can live in Grandpa's old house from now on.
Grandpa's house. Do you mean that old rundown thing? That thing is hardly more than a shack in the woods.
Don't say that. Now, I'll imagine it's just a little dusty from lack of use. It's a perfectly livable house, otherwise.
That thing is like living outdoors. It's got no water heater, no indoor plumbing, and the roof leaks. Even your parents refuse to live there. A little dusty is underselling how bad it is by a lot. It's hardly livable, at best it needs a full renovation.
They only refused because it would have been inconvenient at their age. You two are still young, it shouldn't be a problem.
It'll be nothing but problems.
Well, here's one problem solved for you. When my parents passed, they made sure that ownership of the property was changed to be in my name. I own everything there now.
I couldn't care less about who owns the damn place, that's the least of the problems.
On and on with the complaints, you are such a hassle to deal with. If I tell you to live there, why can't you just accept that and go live there? It's a simple matter of listening, Ella.
Because we can't, John. I'm telling you that that house is not livable.
You got a lot of nerve, you know that. If you don't like it, then divorce is always on the table.
A divorce? Over this?
Relax. I'm just joking.
Well, I don't find it funny in the slightest.
I'm sure a housewife like yourself couldn't bear getting a divorce. You can hardly make ends meet for yourself. It certainly isn't a laughing matter. You're right about that.
These are cruel jokes, John. Telling me to live in a shack or you'll divorce me, how could you find that funny?
The sale of the apartment is true. Start moving now. I'm giving you a move-out deadline of the day after tomorrow.
You're being unreasonable. Think about us.
There's no point in arguing now. It's too late. Make sure to pack everything up. Cooperate or you'll just be making trouble for the realtor. Let's not bother him, okay?
I can't believe you would do this.
It'll feel like home in no time. This happens with every new house. You have to break them in. Just make sure to fix whatever you come across that needs fixing while you two live there. It's a bit of a fixer-upper. You are right about that.
Many months later.
Are you two living in a freaking jungle? Because that's what it looks like to me.
What's this about a jungle now?
God, look at the state of this landscaping. It's a mess. Weeds have taken over the damn place. I'm telling you, it's like hacking your way through the damn jungle just trying to get to the house. The house is falling in on itself so badly that I can barely find the front door.
You have to be more clear. What are you talking about? You're in a jungle?
Your husband has returned to see you for the first time in months. Where are you? Aren't you going to greet me? Drop the jokes for now.
Oh, I see. You're at Grandpa's old house? Why didn't you just say that?
That's right. Where else could I be? I've come home so you two can see me for a change.
I see. Well, enjoy your stay there.
Enjoy my stay? How could I? There's hardly a place to stay unless you're hiding another house on this lot.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Quit it with the attitude. If you don't come out right this instant, I'll divorce you.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Huh? Do you want a divorce now?
Get everything ready. I'll head that way and we can finish everything quickly.
What has gotten into you, Ella? It's shameful to recycle my old joke back at me like this.
It's no joke, I'm serious.
Wait, you do know that if we get divorced you will lose the money that I so graciously give you every month.
And? What about it? Are you going to try and hold that over me?
Do you not understand that that is the money that you live off of?
I'm doing pretty well for myself, actually. I'm making probably double what you make. So, no, I don't care about your money.
What? Double? How the hell are you doing that?
How many times do I have to tell you that a measly $100 a month isn't enough to live on?
You're working or something, then? It must be quite the job.
From home, yes.
Impossible. You don't have any qualifications. There's no way you could be making double what I make.
The team paraphernalia that I made for Camila's track team has turned into a full-fledged business.
Team what? Where's the money in that?
Since you were sending so little home from your job, I couldn't buy any of the official merch. It was too expensive. So I decided to try my hand at making my own.
There's no way I was going to let you waste my money on such frivolous things.
They're for your daughter's track meets. To show my support. That's not frivolous spending at all. I'm so done with your accusatory tone.
Oh, you don't like the way I speak to you, Ella? What are you going to do about it?
Whatever. The point is the things I've been making have been a big hit with the other families.
So you just sell out what you have on hand and that's the source of all the profit?
Not quite. But that was how it all started. While I was explaining to people how I had made the goods, one of the parents whom I met happened to work for a book publishing company. It was her idea to publish a book on what I was doing.
A book on how to make rubbish? That's so stupid.
We were lucky to have the first edit picked up by media outlets. And with that boost, we ended up selling 50,000 copies.
50,000? We're talking 50K physical books, here?
That's right. And to date, I have 5 books in print, all well received, for a total of over 150K books sold.
Why on earth are they selling so much?
Partly because of the good reviews they've been getting. People say that they're perfect for a project for children to do during summer break.
How much is it per book and how much do you make from royalties?
I make 10% of every $20 book sold.
That's like 300K. That's way more than double what I make in a year.
And we have more books on the way, so the future is looking pretty bright for me. But even without that money, I'll find a way. Be it a part-time job or some gig economy work, whatever I have to do to make enough to live on independently from you.
Hold on, calm down. Let's talk it out. For now, let me inside.
I'm obviously not living at that shack.
You're not?
How stupid are you that you can look at the state of that place and actually think that someone was living there?
What do you mean? Where are you then?
I'm leasing a high-security apartment downtown.
No way, those things cost a fortune. Wait, I guess if you had made that much you could swing a place like that.
Why don't you and your little girlfriend stay in that jungle of yours and play Tarzan?
What? There's no way we could. Wait, what?
That's right, I know all about you and her.
Me and who? I don't know what you're talking about. You're just bluffing about, or something.
What? Spit it out, John.
I meant to say that you've got nothing. I won't buy that bluff.
It's so obviously true. Your little stumble there basically confirms it.
I was just surprised at what nonsense you were speaking. You're going to need something more than that to prove anything.
After those bizarre messages, I went straight to where you were living to investigate. I found plenty of evidence against you.
You sent a detective after me?
No way, I had Camila tend to the house and did the detective work myself.
Detective work? You did?
It was a shock to see that the apartment your office owns was unoccupied.
You went to the company apartment?
I couldn't believe that your shift working there had ended 6 months ago and that you had already returned to your home office.
Crap. Crap.
I'm sure you had a great time staying at her place playing Newlyweds.
It wasn't like that. I can explain.
But I did hear that you had gone fully remote from your boss. It would have been pretty hard living at home under those money-saving measures you were forcing on us.
No, that's not right. You've got this all wrong.
I heard everything from the old gossip who meet in the park nearby, so don't bother with excuses.
Those old hags? There's no way you can trust them, and even if you could, they wouldn't trust you.
And why's that? You seem awfully sure about that.
They don't trust people who don't live in the neighborhood. It even took me a month before I didn't feel like I was having warning shots fired at me every time I took out the trash. You are a complete stranger to them. There's no way they would open up to you.
When I told them that I was your actual wife, they lit up and told me all I wanted to know. I guess a juicy story outweighed their suspicion of outsiders. Anyhow, they assumed that the other girl they said you living with was your wife, so they were quite surprised and eager to hear otherwise.
Those damn gossips.
So there you have it. They all the dirt I needed on you. I'll be taking you to court over the infidelity. And I intend to receive half of your things before it's goodbye.
I don't want to divorce you.
What's this now? Weren't you the first one to suggest it?
That was just a little joke.
You forget your daughter's birthday, refuse to provide enough money for us to live on, and what's more, you've been cheating on me for years. I do want to divorce you. In fact, there's no other option but to do that for me. She was just a little mistake I made after getting a little drunk. It only happened a couple of times.
Since her apartment is here instead of over by the office apartment, that means that you were cheating with her dated back to before your little business trip.
You wouldn't even bother to visit your real family for months at a time, but you were heading to her place weekly, weren't you? At least that's what the gossiping old ladies told me.
They really told you all of that? How the hell do they know all that?
Don't underestimate the information-gathering abilities of retired old ladies.
It's like they're on shifts. They're gathered there all day, and, while I tried, there weren't any chances to evade them.
By the way, I was also with them for a number of days gathering evidence against you. And you didn't even notice me.
Damn, I should have known. It all adds up, now. If you're going to hide a tree, you pick a forest. If you want to hide an old lady, you pick a group of old ladies.
Yeah, very funny. I'm quite the old lady for being in my 40s. I swear I will milk every penny from you.
Hold your horses. We can work things out, face to face. Texts don't tell the whole story.
I never want to be face to face with you ever again.
I think you've just lost your head in anger. If you just calm down a bit.
I think you need to give up and calmly look at your situation.
What about Camila in all of this? Isn't it sad that she'll be without a dad after we get divorced?
You were a worthless dad anyway. You forgot her birthday and ignored her achievements. She even said that it wouldn't make a difference, she doesn't get to see you anyhow.
If she keeps up with track and field, it'll be costly. Are you okay with forcing her to abandon her dreams because you can't support them financially?
Did you forget that you make less than me?
Damn it.
Nothing to say back?
No, it's not that. I just realized that you're right. Divorce is for the best. I give up. I'll pay whatever damages I owe you.
Good, you're finally speaking some sense.
Don't you think you're forgetting something? You fool! Idiot! You haven't worked this out nearly as well as you thought. Don't think I'll be swayed where you're bawling your eyes out later.
In case you are talking about the book money, except for the minimum needed for day-to-day costs, everything was put into a bank account under Camila's name. It's been set aside for her future and it won't be subject to being split between us.
You did? Did you work that all out yourself?
Don't tell me that was what you had just realized. Nice master plan you had there.
I figured with half of the book money I could pay everything off.
Looks like I already outmaneuvered you, you dummy.
In that case, the divorce.
Direct all further contact to my lawyer, please.
Wait, I take everything back. Don't divorce me. Are you listening? I'm sorry.
What did he think apologizing was going to do at that point? After that, my lawyer went and met up with John. He had him do his part of the paperwork and sign off on everything. The damages came out to $25,000, about half of what he sold the apartment for. There was another $40,000 on top of that in assets that were split between us. Apparently, he was already blowing through his savings with the other girl and he quickly ran out of money. So I'm taking a portion of his monthly wages to get the remainder. The girl he cheated on me with ended up losing her job and being kicked out of her church. The girl's parents took it upon themselves to pay that money. They seem to want all of this to just go away as quickly as possible. Apparently, she is the daughter of a higher-up at John's company, but he is very religious and cut ties with her after hearing what she did. What a cliché series of events. John's days of remote work came to an end when the company got word of the whole incident. He's apparently miserable now that he has to come into the office again. I also hear that while he wanted to quit that job, he can't do it because of the monthly damages payments. The girl's father is apparently putting him through hell in his day-to-day. Since he's out of money, he's also rumored to have moved into the jungle house. Camila and I are living easily with the success of the book sales. Even today, I'm hard at work on my next book. Well, I'm off to write. I've got a lot to do.